And Myles, how are you, my friend?
Good morning, Kyle. I'm well, sir.
What is going on?
Morning, Tori.
Let's talk. How about we talk about, let's recap, because we're constantly getting new listeners on the FM now. We're FM, you know that, for about 8 or 9 months, 98.1 FM. And we're constantly getting new listeners who really don't know what you are all about and what you preach and what you teach us. So why don't we do a recap of that, and then we'll talk about events coming up and holidays and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Home care is a relatively new industry. So basically what we are, Tori, is we're in home care. We're not in home health where they send nurses in to check vitals, dress wounds, what have you. Home care helps our seniors stay in their own homes with giving them the helping hands in the areas they need. We call them activities of daily living. Could be helping them with personal care, personal hygiene, bathing, showering, but most importantly, making sure they're eating nutritious meals, taking their medications on time, maybe giving them, rides to their doctors, helping around the house with laundry, errands, what have you.
How about just company? How about just like, a friend to watch TV or a movie with?
Nicely done, because that is the most undersold part of what we do, because depression and isolation is huge among our seniors, and companionship is listed on our bullet points of services we provide, but a lot of people don't pay much attention to that, and it's huge. Companionship, keeping our seniors, active, getting them out in society, getting them engaged so they're not, because a lot of times, we'll come in when they've lost a spouse of 30, 40, 50 years. So they just want to withdraw and shut down. So we try to get them re-engaged in the society activities that they were involved in, before losing a spouse, and not let isolation and depression set in. So companionship is huge. And, kind of segueing into what we mentioned, or you mentioned at the top about the holidays, and because I know we don't have much time. It's a little early. I can't believe we're talking about the holidays already, but, we're at the end of October, so we're probably making our Thanksgiving plans. Thanksgiving is the highest percentage of times that the families get together on an annual basis. So my advice to our adult children who are maybe planning a visit to see parents that they physically haven't laid eyes on in maybe a year's time is to really pay attention. I call it the comfort circle, the circle of comfort. Got dyslexic there for a minute, because when we call our parents and we have that 5, 10, maybe 15-minute conversation of how you doing, checking in with them, they stay in that circle of comfort where, they know to talk about the kids and they know but they may have some physical or cognitive deterioration. So
do they try and fool us?
Absolutely. They do. They can mask that. And like I said, so they stay within that circle. So when you go to visit your parents this holiday season, be it for Thanksgiving and I'll talk about it again next month too, because it's so important, is pay attention without being a disrespectful bull in a china shop. Don't go in there like they're your parents. Treat them with the dignity and the respect that they deserve, but be observant. Check the refrigerator.
What are the red flags?
Yeah, check the refrigerator, see if, number one, it's stocked, and if it is, is there spoiled food in there? Is there, just an array of food that is having its own heartbeat? Look around the house. Are there, past due bills? Are mom and dad not as, well kept as they have been in the past? We know our parents. They were our heroes growing up, so you will notice changes that mom always had her hair done, but now that you were there, you notice her hair sort of disheveled and she's worn the same clothes 2-3 days in a row. If you run an errand with your parents and they're still driving, let them drive. A lot of times as kids, I know when I go to see my mom, get in, mom, we'll go to the store. Let them drive. Hey, mom, drive. I'm not, whatever. So you can kind of be observant. Are they driving okay? Are their skills deteriorating?
Okay, so what if you get in the car? This is another huge point. So you get in the car with them. You go to the store, last minute, things for Thanksgiving, right? And you notice, oh dear, they're not stopping at the stop sign, or they made a right on red and they're not supposed to, and maybe made a wrong turn. Then what do you do?
And then it's time to have what we refer to as the talk. And hopefully, I've said this in other shows, is if we pre-plan and have the conversation of the journey, there's no surprises, because we're all going to get old, and we should always have that talk with our parents before it's an issue. So when this starts to happen, mom or dad, what do you want to do? But to your point, that's probably the biggest shift in our parents is trained to take the keys. I mean, imagine if someone just came up to you, Tori, and said, you know what, I didn't like the way you drove today, Tori, give me your keys, we'll take you around. Just think of the independence we're taking from our parents.
Sure.
Or any of our aging loved ones. But you have to have that talk and maybe see what their reaction is, and then at some point you're going to have to go down that road of possibly getting the physician involved, the DMV, because a lot of times if we talk with their parents and they don't want to hurt anybody, they don't want to hurt themselves, or God forbid hit a child or what have you. So the talk is tough, but again, don't be a bull in a china shop. Don't be a know-it-all.
Should we approach this talk at a holiday, or should we have a pause, talk to maybe other siblings, and then maybe come back on a different time, maybe a week or two later, and discuss this? Or should we interrupt the holidays if we're that concerned?
No,
what do you think?
don't ruin your holidays. But yeah, you need to strategize. And the thing is when it's a lot of times it's all about semantics. I mean, because again, we're not nurses. We do all the non-medical assistance of activities of daily livings. So when we start to talk to our parents about possibly needing help, I always suggest to our adult client or adult children clients is, we're personal assistants, or call us a concierge service. Our parents have never had a problem in the past hiring a housekeeper or a gardener or a handyman. Well, don't use the word caregiver, because that immediately sounds
yeah,
like you're taking them, out of their independent world, that you think they medically, and that's not the case. Just like we need help keeping our lawn clean, maybe we need help, coming in and helping with things so we don't have that slip and fall, and you have a broken hip or a head trauma, or they're not taking their medications on time. But getting back to the holiday visit is, just use your senses: sight, smell, touch. When you hug your parents, do they seem like, wow, they seem like 20 pounds lighter since the last time I saw them? They're probably not eating well. And again, that's, is a personal hygiene not what it is or was. So just pay attention. And then, and from my further, talks, or previous talks, hopefully we've had the talk with our parents. I know I've had it with my mom. I've sat her down and said, she lives alone. My brother and sister lives in the same little town that she does. I said, but Mom, how does this look for you down the road? And she really opened up and talked about how she gets lonely, and she would actually consider an assisted living facility so that she is with people of her own age and do activities. And so we had that talk, and so now when it starts to be a necessity, we do what she told me she wanted to do. I'm not
Right.
making any decisions. I'm not, overruling her. So if you haven't had that chat about what that journey looks like, it may be home care till the day they pass. It may be they want an assisted living facility. But again, have the talk, have a map. That way there's no arguing between the siblings. There's, well, Mom would have wanted this or Dad would.
And there is
No.
always an argument.
Absolutely.
Myles, one more question before we give out phone numbers and stuff. Comfort Keepers, when you send someone to someone's home from Comfort Keepers, do they address them by like first names? Do they become like someone they know, like a friend? Like, I'm sending Ann or Jean or Joe, or do they know this is help, a caregiver? How do you approach that?
Well, they, of course, know they're hiring a personal assistant or a concierge, but then that bond, from my caregiver side, they talk about it's like having, 15 sets of grandparents, which is kind of cool. From our seniors' standpoint, they literally bond with our Comfort Keepers. They look forward to their visits. And yes, there is a friendship that develops, and it is like having another grandkid, or from our side, another set of grandparents. So absolutely that bond develops. And my care manager, who oversees all of our cases, there's a bond there because she does the initial assessment, what kind of care plans needed, and then she gets the communication circle with the family and with our client. And so there's a bond that develops there. And there has to be, when you're asking somebody to come into your home,
Right.
unsupervised, there has to be a level of trust. We've been doing this for over 17 years. We fingerprint our caregivers, do extensive background searches. We train them, we monitor them, we supervise them. But that's a huge step, is to ask a stranger at first, then we become bonded friends. But at first, you're inviting a stranger to come into your home. So there has to be a level of trust. That's why I'm proud to say we've been doing this for over 17 years. We're very embedded in the community. We're active. We're involved. But we do a free assessment, a free in-home consultation. So
Great. How do we get in touch with you? Someone's driving around right now saying, you know what? Let's do the free assessment. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I have a
well,
feeling.
the easiest thing to remember is just go to comfortkeepers.com and punch in the zip code where you want care. If you have seen us on Lyons Avenue, we've been there for a long, long time. That's 661-287-4200, 661-287-4200. Or just go to comfortkeepers.com, call KHTS. Everyone here knows how to get a hold of us. But really, let me just, again, reiterate as we wrap up is we're all going to get together for Thanksgiving probably is pay attention. Just look around, have that conversation, let our parents drive when you do something, look around the house, but do not be disrespectful. Respect, dignity, don't be a know-it-all.
There you go.
Ba-dum-bum.
Exactly. Myles McNamara, Comfort Keepers. Once again, phone number is
661-287-4200.
you the best.